Hello, dear students. I hope you all are doing wonderful at home. And this coronavirus pandemic has created havoc across the world, and this has disturbed our learning as well. However, our learning must go on. In this regard, we are going to begin our biology classes. In this class 10 biology, we have 6 chapters given for us. These are life processes, control and coordination, how do organisms reproduce, heredity and evolution, our environment, and management of natural resources. These are 6 chapters, and under this, we are going to learn various interesting topics. And these are going to help us to gain a lot of knowledge, and also we can apply a lot of science in our real life. Let's begin this and in the beginning, let's know about biology. Biology is nothing but it is a study of living organism. So when we say living, and what is non-living then? We have already learned some living and non-living things in our previous classes. In this non-living, we see rock, water, soil, air, clouds. These are all non-living. When we say non-living, how do we say they are non-living? What are the attributes to categorize them that they are non-living? If you see the rock cannot move by itself. Means movement is one of the characteristic to say that it is a living. So non-living things they cannot move by themselves. Water will move from higher place to lower place, and then clouds also move along with the atmospheric pressure as well as the wind. These are all they cannot move by themselves. They need some external agent. First thing is movement. Then next thing is growth. These rocks they cannot grow further. Means the growth is another attribute. Another attribute say to say that they are non-living. So movement, growth, and the next thing is response. Do they respond to any situation? Like if you are hitting a rock, it cannot hit you back. The rock will remain quiet and it cannot respond. So movement, growth, and response. And usually these cannot reproduce. They cannot grow out into another next individual. They cannot give out new individual. These are all the characteristics attributes seen in case of non-living things. Coming to living things, characters of living being, if you see they have movement. All the animals we move. In case of plants, though they cannot move from one place to other place, still they have growth related movement. Means they can move across the growth. As they grow they move. And you can see next attribute is growth as well. We all were very young and we started to grow up further and we grow. Growth is another sign of this characteristic of living being. Next is reproduction. Every organism, every living organism, they have very important process called as reproduction. Why reproduction is very crucial? Because the life on this earth has started millions of years ago. Though the life has started millions of years ago, still the life persists even on today. How does life has come from millions of years ago to now? This life has passed on from then to here because of only one important process, that is reproduction. This reproduction enables to give to rise to a new young one, and this young one also attains reproductive capacity and it will give rise to new young one. That's how the life is sustaining on this biosphere. It is a very important attribute of any living organism. And next one is response. Stimuli and response. Stimuli is anything that you are going to do for that, and response is what it is going to do. Suppose there is a classic example here. If you see here, touch me not plant in the bottom. This touch me not plant, they though just you if you give a touch to that, it responds to the touch and it will fold itself. It is a stimuli and response. We also respond. Like suppose if you see a cat, you will respond in it is a cute thing, so you tend to go near to it, and if you want to hold it and you want to play with it. Suppose the same thing if you get a tiger there, you respond differently. So this stimuli and response it varies, and living organisms they show this stimuli and response. And above all these, all the living organisms they are all made up of cells, and this made up of cells is very very crucial. And every living organism, we can say from the single unicellular organism to highest evolved organism, they're all made up of cells. So cells is very important criteria to say that it is a living organism. Though there are some organisms which are subcellular. Subcellular means these organisms are smaller than the cells. Example is virus. Virus is just a RNA. Just a RNA. What do you mean by RNA? What is it? We are going to discuss further, or you may come up in the higher classes. It is a subcellular organism. It can live without the cell. So that's the beauty of some small organisms, and sometimes it is a pain for us, because now if you see the coronavirus, it is creating havoc. It is fast spreading across the world, and uh, we are all ending up in houses to protect ourselves. Moving on, these movement, breathing, or any growth, the respiration and the stimuli and response, these are all visible things. These are all visible signs of life. But suppose an organism is sleeping, if an organism are just doing nothing, lying down, still it is not showing any movement, and sometimes breathing also, we cannot observe breathing, and we cannot see any growth here. But still we say that it is living. Why do we say this? Because we said that our body is made up of cells. If you see, we call ourselves an organism. When we say organism, an organism is consisting of organs, and these organs are having the tissues, and these tissues are having the cells, and these cells are having the smaller components. Those are called as molecules. We are all made up of molecules, and these molecules in turn they are made up of atoms. At the basic, we are all made up of atoms, and that's how life is also on this planet has started from the small atoms making into a cell, and then cell is becoming into the smaller organism. From smaller organism it is becoming to larger organism. Coming to in this context, you see here we say that though an organism is in the resting phase, if it is not doing anything in particular, still we call it a living organism, because they have movement going on internally. There are movements going on internally in our body, and we said that our body is made up of organs, and organs in turn made up of tissues in turn made up of then cells, and these cells in turn made up of molecules. And these molecules, they are continuously active in our body. They continuously move across our body, though we are resting. Though we are sleeping, our digestion will go on. Though we are sleeping, our heartbeat will continue to pump out the blood. Though we are sleeping, we tend to respire further. These are some of the important activities that keep on going in our body even though we are resting on. What is important is, though we are resting, the molecular movements in our body, they are active. What is this molecular movement? Why do we need molecular movements? Example is, suppose there is a car, and this car is newly bought, but after 1 or 2 years, if it is not used, if it is just kept in a shed, what would happen? This car will undergo rusting, and this rusting process will make the car go useless, and it will be of no use. Same way in our body also, our body needs some maintenance. Our body needs some maintenance, and this maintenance is provided by these molecules. These molecules are helping us to maintain our body, because our body tend to give out new cells every minute, and it also kills many of the cells in our body every minute. And we also tend to grow further. We have a lot of activities going on in our body like digestion, respiration. These are all needing some energy, and also we need energy. All these processes which are going inside, they're all needed for the maintenance. We said that these molecular movements are needed for the maintenance, and this process which keeps an organism living, those are called as life processes. So we see the definition of life processes. The biological processes which keeps an organism alive and perform body maintenance are called as life processes. These are the processes that keeps an organism living. Example, these are all very important life processes. Those are nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. These are important life processes, and these life processes, they help organism to live. Just see this nutrition. We need nutrition, we need food for our energy. And without this energy we cannot sustain our body. All the reactions, all the molecular movements going on in our body, we cannot sustain that energy. We need something that gives us energy. And respiration as well. In the respiration, if you see, we generate a lot of oxygen through respiration to our body, and this oxygen is required all across our body. And so does this transportation. Our heart is pumping the blood actively to all parts of our body. And excretion, we are removing all the waste generated in our body through this excretion. All these processes should go on parallelly in our body to keep ourselves active and healthy and living. So these life processes are needed to prevent damage, breakdown, and energy that is needed to be provided to the body. So these are very important things that has to be done by the body to keep our body maintained. To prevent the damage, what kind of damage? Because we are continuously exposed to sun, we are continuously exposed to air, there are so many microorganisms. They may damage our body, and our body needs to fight with them, and it needs to keep us healthy. So it needs to prevent the damage, and it needs to break down the energy, and then energy also it needs to be given.